Hi guys, Shuma here today, and I'm gonna give you Magi, chapter 172 review. So, this chapter was pretty solid. It starts with Aladdin, and he takes off these stones, which are binding his power as a magi. I'm gonna say magi because it sounds better in my ears. Anyway, so and he starts to notice that the mango isn't flowing into his body as it usually does, and he figures that it must be because I cut him off for so long, so my body isn't used to take in mango from the root. And it makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. And then they finally attacks, and they just decimates everything in the way. People are just flying, and then they stop, and Aladdin says, "Why? Or I don't agree with the way of Magnusstad. However, as long as the Co-Empire and your empire is doing this to Magnusstad, they will not change their ways. And why does such a person as Scheherazade Seshi. Let's call her Seshi. I can't pronounce her name, okay? Um, and the family leader says, "Well, you can't understand such a dignified person as she is." And he then goes on to inner monologue about how, or he talks to the other ones, and he says, we cannot allow Magnusstad to fall into the empire and co-empire's hands because it's such a vital place to attack and defend. And if the expertise of the magicians will fall into the hands of the co-empire, that will be dangerous. That will be really dangerous, especially as we have seen the Layam Empire is basically they are the opposite of Magnusstad. They have their physical people. They rely on physical threats and science. For example, we saw them, making up bombs. They invented bombs. Yes, that's the word. They invented bombs, and she said had a long speech about how it's important to stand on your own 2 feet even if the magicians aren't here. So we can understand that they don't want the technology which Magnusstad has been developing to fall into co-empire, which from what I've seen they are actually pretty not be as good at magic as Magnusstad. However, they are not far behind. So yeah, you get the point. And they attack, and they attack the magicians, and they realize that what I've been told from Seshi is true, that some of the boogie, the magician's shields, some of them are soft and some of them are hard, and it all depends on the mago of the magician. So, however, he also goes on and talk about how a magis bald, that's the word, sorry, bald, it wouldn't really, it can be harder than steel, and even as hard as diamond or harder, and that's why you need a vessel, usually needs a metal vessel to even dent a magis ball, the surrounding the shield on surrounding the magicians. So yeah, sorry. And he also, so they continue going in attack, and then we get this explanation of how the leader of Magnusstad, the archmage, he's standing inside of the city and he's just maintaining this huge shield around the city. And even if the outer layer has been broken, however, they can't fix it because even if they would fix it, the enemy would already be inside. And then we go to a monologue about how the families they are the disadvantage towards the magicians because the magicians, they can fly, they have range attacks, and they are very versatile, whereas the families, they only have punches and kicks and grapples techniques. And however, they see this as the magicians are slow compared to them, so they easily can grab stones, you know, and block their attacks, versus the guy grabbing a huge stone slab, just throwing it at a lightning bolt, and it just hits the ground, the stone slab, and nothing happens to him, and they just charge, and they aren't really worried, because we see them, they're making this competition if they can make it to the magicians and scratch. So obviously they are confident, they are cocky, and then Aladdin, he sees this huge river, and it's actually neat, because now we see why it's such an important place for the Layam Empire to get, because you see a river, I'm going to assume that it's a huge river, so I mean, minus that's probably the only place where you can actually cross it somewhat safely, so it makes sense that this is a good place to fight if you're gonna protect your borders from an invasion. And they go on, and let's see now what happened later. It was, oh yes, the Aladdin sees this river, and he says, well, have a look at this, and he along with other magicians just raises the river, and they just swamp the whole place with water. And then he says, well, Morgie is pretty can't swim, so maybe these guys aren't so good at swimming. And then the families just starts laughing, and of course we can swim, are you stupid? And they just start swimming. And then Aladdin says, well, you know, you're trapped. And then they all just summon a huge lightning bolt raining down into the river, and they just saps everyone, you know. And that is the end of the chapter, I think. Yep. And then then we also see how Aladdin he slowly getting back his magi's power, or at least it seems that way. However, if you look at his expression on the last page, that might actually not be the case, because what if he's going to lose his powers as a magi because he rejected the rook for so long, so maybe he's not loved anymore. That would actually be huge for Aladdin, and that would be great character development for Aladdin there. We see him relying on the rook, and you know, well, we see where this is gonna go. So yeah, continue reading manga, and rate, comment, and subscribe, and I see you guys later.